Okay, just introduce yourself, me, please.
My name is John Paul. I'm from the community of Bexon. I play professional basketball overseas.
All right, John, talk to me about where you are in your journey right now. What's going on with you, and what are some of your aspirations?
Well, right now, I play in Laval, France. I play for Laval in the N2 league in France, and my goal is to play in a higher league. And this is the goal right now. I played in Spain the year before. I played for Castries in Salamanca in the EBA League, and it was a good experience. And just having to be in a professional, setting where the players that take, it's a different kind of feel when you play professionally when it comes to the difference between college, and it was a little adjustment for me at first, but I've been good so far. Playing in Spain and now in France, and then to move forward from there.
What's the biggest aspect of the transition from playing collegiate basketball to playing professionally?
The biggest transition is the way you take care of your body. What you put into your body, is when they're gonna get out. It's a longer season too. It's not in 30 games or more. It's a couple more games more than that. So it's more about having a good nutritionist, physio, those kind of stuff like that to take care of your body, so your career is gonna last longer.
All right, and talk to me about your success level thus far. I mean, you're into your second year now as a professional. Talk to me about what are coaches saying about you? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Well, so far, it's different how I take care of my body. So and the game has changed. There's not really no more big man. Well, there's a big man, but it's more of a big who could screen and roll and dunk and protect the paint kind of big man. How the professionals are in the NBA are now. So it's basically the feedback that they give me is get your body right, which I have been getting my body right. My body's been doing me good, and there's a lot of teams overseas in the bigger leagues from the league I'm playing in right now. I have interest in me, and the NBA is always my ultimate goal. So there's teams that are interested in me, teams that have spoken to me, when it comes to the summer league circuit, that has shown interest, for me to come there and play, and just monitoring the way I played during the season this year.
Right, coming out of university, of course, you played in Canada. What was that experience like? And what was your biggest takeaway in from basketball terms?
My biggest takeaway from playing in Canada was being coachable. When I left the country playing for other teams, a high school team, it was wanting you think that you know everything about basketball, but you got to be humble, and you got to be very coachable, and that's what I really learned when I met Coach Gil Chung from Brandon. He really sat me down and told me, man, you have a lot of talent, you have a lot of ability, and if you listen to me and you trust the process, you trust what I'm telling you, then your career and your basketball will improve. And so said, so done. And I really had 3 great years at Brandon University. Them winning 4 national championships before I came there, and the program being in a almost not known like before, and then us bringing the program back, making the playoffs 2 straight years in a row, and me being the defensive player of the year for Brandon for the 2 last years, man, it was a really good experience.
All right, a lot of people look at your accolades. They look at your career at Brandon, and of course you going into the pro level, and they figure that you've been doing this for a really long time. You actually haven't been playing basketball for all that long. How did you get into the game?
Well, I got into the game credits to my coach Benny Hippolyte. Benny Hippolyte played for Coach Jess for a long time, and he saw me playing. I was in Form 5, and he was like, "You should play, man. You have the height." And then that was it, man. I played my first year, really serious basketball. I got most points, lost against River Compre in the finals. And then after, getting into the Windward team was a big thing for me, playing alongside guys like Andre and those guys really gave me some confidence to want to play more. And it was just learning, because I really was just tall, and I was just a body in the way that they used to help the team, You can't teach length, you can't teach size, you can't teach ability, and that's what I had at a young age. And when I left, it was just adjusting to how the game is. You know how the game is overseas. The game is way faster than it was when I played here in Saint Lucia. And those years were almost like when you play in high school. Those years were just like my high school years when I started overseas. I'm just learning the game and more improving. And where now I'm at the point where I know exactly what I'm gonna do at the court. When I'm in the game, I know exactly what move I want to go to. And I know exactly I set goals for myself when the game starts that I want to accomplish. So that's the difference. Those years just really was like learning years to learn the game of basketball. So where I could develop and get to where I want to be, and how the game has evolved now. It's even a learning experience now, just the way the game has evolved. Because when I played at Brandon University, I was a big man, and when I played my first year in Salamanca, Spain, Coach Angel Neito told me, man, you need to trim down, how the game is played now. We want you to be faster, we want you to be able to exchange the courts pretty quickly, because how the game was so fast in Spain. So basketball is just always a learning thing, and I've just been learning, along the way.
Right. You've of course been able to take that experience, take all your learning and your knowledge to the national team. The Saint Lucia playing as a national team for the first time in quite a while last year. What was that like for you?
Oh man, that experience was probably the best experience I had in basketball in a long time. I remember my last year in Brandon. I hurt my ankle, and I had to sit a couple months out. And I remember when Leslie, Coach Buffy, the president of the Basketball Association, and he told me he wanted me a part of the team, because he really thinks I could help the team. And when he got in contact with me, I felt really good, like my country needed me for something. And when I got to the team, I really lost contact with some of the guys, and just to be able to be around those guys again. Marcian Calderon, one of the best leaders I've been around. Ron Dumoville, one of the best leaders I've been around. Those guys really was a cornerstone for the team. And we have so much young talent. Joel Polios, Andrew Louiso, Troy. I could keep on going and going for the young talent we got here, and all the young guys, especially Keegan as well. Those guys really brought me in, and made me feel as a family. We played the games, and chemistry was not always the greatest thing, but one thing I know about the team is gonna get better just because of the chemistry of the court. Everybody was almost like a family when we were there, and that atmosphere is the atmosphere I want to be around, and that's why I know me in the program, and even when I'm long gone after, the basketball, Saint Lucia basketball will continue to improve because of the culture that they're building right now.
You didn't play you haven't played a whole lot of club basketball in Saint Lucia. Did that affect how you integrated into the team?
Yeah.
Most of the guys would have come out of local clubs and so on.
Yeah, it's different. Coming back, like I said, I was really into contact, and this is one of the things I really want to improve on. My relationship with the federation and my relationship with the guys who play here, because it's very important. If you really want to have an impact on a sport and you really want to be a part of something special, you have to make yourself available, at all times. And I really appreciate them actually for bringing me into the program, and for making me feel comfortable. At first when I got on the team, I could feel the tension. The guys winning championships here all the time, and they had that confidence about themselves, and it really made me feel confident about my game, because we really were going into there with a great mindset to the games. Win or lose, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna give our best effort. So it was really cool to play with the guys that play in the commercial league, and it made me some of the times when they spoke, I was like, I wish I played in the commercial league, before I left. Yeah.
All right, you're back for a brief period. What's it been like reconnecting with your family, your friends back in Bexon?
Oh well, it's been great. My grandma passed away last summer, and it was an important trip to come back to see my family. It was very, very important. I spoke to my coach, and he was all for it. And there were certain things I had to take care of back home. Being my family, loving me the way they do, and I want to reciprocate that same love. Should I same love back to them? So it's just things I was supposed to do, and I had to do. But it's been great. Bexon is my home place. This is where I was born, I was raised, and that's why I feel most at home. I really, really stay home a lot. I go to the gym and work out, and that's pretty much it. Just being home with my family. Especially my dad, mother. And he was the first son. She passing away. I really wanted to be there for my dad, and it's been a good break, but I gotta get back to business.
Okay, off the court, what are some of your dreams? What are some of your goals in life outside of basketball?
Off the court, I'm into theater. I was always into theater. One of my biggest mentors is Mr. Alfred, and the Calypsonian Wally, who has impacted my life so much. Just his love for what he does, and his gift for inspiring young people. He inspired me at a very young age, and man, I owe him a lot. I really want to get into theater like he used to. I have my degree in fine arts. I really want to maybe work on an art gallery. That's my goal, to have an art gallery with some of my paintings, some of the canvases and sculptures, that I've done in university, and have them in the storeroom, maybe, for an exhibition kind of thing. But this is my goal, run an art gallery, when it's all said and done, when I decide to lace it up, and an art gallery.
And you talk about your own paintings. Is that something that you still do? What do you do aside from basketball, just to relax, just to get your mind off things?
Just to get my mind, I do a lot of painting. I draw. I read a lot. I do a lot of reading. I basically, basketball is pretty much 24/7 for me now. I remember in university, I did it just because I was good. But now, being a professional, it's your job, and it's an everyday thing that you need to, apply yourself to every day. And, I just really love the game, and I just want to improve on it every day. So, off the course, just, read, really try to, in Spain, I did some sculptures, I was at the University of Salamanca. I went into the fraternity there with the art fraternity, and we really did some stuff. They really helped me with some stuff. I really learned a good bit in Salamanca, Spain. And I've really been into just doing art.
You've been in Spain, you've been in France, obviously coming from Canada.
Yes.
What's it like there being just immersed? You talk about being at a university. What's it like being immersed in a foreign culture, in a culture that's steeped in the arts, and that really just being involved in that kind of scene?
Well, in Spain, it was so different. Just the culture and the passion they have for everything. I did not know basketball was just this big sport in Spain, and it was very different. Of course, the language barrier, it was different at first. There's one time my coach was saying blanco negro, I'm like, I was like, you say negro? What are you saying? You know what I'm saying? So when he said negro was black, I'm like, okay, coach, I didn't know, because it almost sounded like you were saying the N-word. So it was a pretty funny experience. I remember me and coach just laughing about it after, and it's just the new languages, the different foods. Salamanca, the plaza, it was beautiful. There were so many different sites we went to see in Salamanca. Where I visited, I went to visit Madrid. I went to a Barcelona game, all with my teammate Justin Valero, and it was a pretty good experience. I really liked being in Spain, and it was nice.
What's your favorite thing about France?
My favorite thing about France, I think, is just the love that everybody shows. It's different. When you try to greet someone from France, they usually come to kiss you, and you're like, what are you doing? This is a culture. When you greet someone, you do the two cheek kiss. You know what I'm saying? Like next to each other. And some of my teammates, some of the guys, they're so close to each other they don't really shake hands. They greet each other with kisses. So, I really like that because when you approach someone and you approach someone in that way, and you get into the comfort zone, it's almost like you just get connected with that person real quick, and you'll be able to talk to them, really nicely right away. So that's one of the things I like about the French culture. They really, they show the affections and they don't hold back.
All right. Anything you want to leave us with?
I want to leave us with just, all the young athletes out there, pursuing, working hard, things can happen, I'm from Saint Lucia, man, and I've been working my tail off for a long time, and, your hard work is always going to pay off, It's a process, it's going to take time. Nothing is built right away. Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's always like a process, and you got to keep going and going, and, if God on your side, you can accomplish anything.